The space race ended in the 70s and life started slowly going back to normal for the world, or did it? Was this the moment that the actual Star Trek future we were promised actually began? We could just dismiss this as a conspiracy theory, right? Well, we could, only if the evidence for the secret space program wasn't as overwhelming as it is. Top secret documents, testimonies, diary entries from ex-presidents, and yes, the pictures of the whole thing are quite hard to push to the side. This is the UFO Lab, and I hope you're ready for this because this is a wild one. This episode is about the Solar Warden. Starting this episode without mentioning Garry McKinnon wouldn't be right. I made a video on him and I'll have it linked at the end of this video, but for those who haven't watched it, here's a summary. In 2001, Garry McKinnon, a British hacker, decided that he couldn't wait for the release of information regarding the UFO phenomenon, and he spent the next year sifting through some of the most secure facilities in the US looking for proof of alien life. What he found weren't exactly aliens, but it was something as amazing, if not even more so. He found an Excel sheet. Not as amazing as you thought, right? You'd be wrong to think so, because the document contained lists of non-terrestrial officers and transfers in between the ships. McKinnon didn't stop there. After finding this, his curiosity was eating him up, and that's when he started searching through NASA's computers. To be specific, he got into the Building 8 systems, as he was aware of Donna Hare's testimony in which she stated to have seen untampered satellite photos which show clear UFOs in them. Her testimony was the reason he knew he would find the pictures he was looking for in the Building 8. Soon after getting into these computers, he found a folder that contained what he was looking for. There was one titled Unprocessed Images, and when he opened it up, he saw pictures. He tried downloading the image, but it was too large, so he opened it. It was loading slowly, line by line, but after waiting for a while, he saw the image we would all want to see. He caught himself looking at a cylinder-shaped ship. The image I'm showing you right now is a recreation of what he saw. His excitement wouldn't last too long, however, as the mouse started moving and he was disconnected in seconds. That's the moment he knew he was caught. If you want to find out what happened to him, watch the video in the corner. The secret space program has been kept under wraps, but those secrets have been leaking for the past 50 years. There even was a confirmed secret military space program called the Manned Orbiting Laboratory, or MOL. It was so secret that even the wives of the people involved couldn't know about it. This program was cancelled by the then President Richard Nixon, but as it seems to be the case more often than not, this program was just pushed deeper into the Black Ops side of operations. In 2012, a breadcrumb was leaked on the Wikileaks website that contained information that sounds insane. I'll leave the link to the document in the description below, but as you can see, it's a report that Russia destroyed a secret US base on the moon all the way back in 1979. Something interesting to keep in mind would be that 2 years after this secret base had been destroyed, Jimmy Carter and Leonid Brezhnev signed a treaty for disarmament in Vienna. This doesn't make too much sense. It's not like two governments could decide they wanted to play nice all of a sudden. What led them to make peace could be the reason for the creation of the international shield of our planet called the Solar Warden. Can you guess what it was? Yeah, it was aliens. Ronald Reagan was the 40th president of the United States, and he's had a few interesting moments in his career regarding the issue of space. For starters, he was the person that pushed for the Strategic Defense Initiative, or as the media at the time called it, the Star Wars program. SDI would have large space platforms and smaller patrol craft in operation, which would be tasked with monitoring the solar system for presence of unauthorized alien intrusions, and if any were found, defend us against them. This all came up to exist as Reagan was brought up to speed on the alien matter by military experts, and he was determined to keep us safe. Hold up, all this information sounds insane, right? Where are these theories coming from? Well, you'd be surprised to know, but Reagan wrote about all of this in his diaries. In 2007, HarperCollins published a book titled Reagan's Diaries, and in this book we can see what the daily life of the 14th president was like. It's not a regular memoir, rather it's just a list of entries Ronald Reagan kept himself. It's completely normal until we reach the page 334, where on June 11th in 1985, the president wrote this down.
Had lunch with 5 top space scientists. It was fascinating. Space truly is the last frontier, and some of the developments there in astronomy are like science fiction, except they are real. I learned that our shuttle capacity is such that we could orbit 300 people.
Now, that number is really interesting, as Garry McKinnon stated that the capacity of the ships he saw were around 300 people. Still not convincing enough? Well, I have no other choice then. I have to show you the pictures. In 2007, a British amateur astronomer, John Leonard Walson, came up with a technique to capture clearer images of bodies in space from his home telescope. He took images in visible, infrared, and ultraviolet spectrum, and he used the clearest takes out of each of the wavelengths and combined them into a final image. His results were amazing. He took photos of the moon and the International Space Station. He even sent these photos to be reviewed, and the experts confirmed that his photos were credible and stunning at that. This is really interesting on its own, but then he started capturing images like these. He started capturing videos and photos of what he thought were stars, but it quickly turned out that these were weird-looking space platforms, in magnitudes larger than the International Space Station. These platforms were massive, and even more importantly, they fit the space platforms described in the Solar Warden project perfectly. His findings started catching some buzz, and that's when he started receiving visits from military enforcers. Not long after that, the infamous black helicopter started flying over his house, and he even shot pictures and videos of all these encounters. I'm not saying that these were British men in black, but what happened? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention one new point. One interesting connection has been made recently with the testimonies from people like Eric Hacker, electronic specialists that work as an electrical repairman and fireman on the Polar Research Station in 2010. He recently made a connection between the Quantum Entanglement Research Station and the Solar Warden project. I mean, just listen to what he has to say.
It is a neutrino detector, for sure. It can accomplish its primary purpose. It can also transmit and then provide a multifaceted platform for directed energy weapons systems. These platforms are way more complex than that. They do a lot of things.
What else do they do?
It detects the neutrinos that are apparently coming off of the new exotic propulsion systems for either off-world UFOs or reverse-engineered stuff on our planet, thus making it basically an air traffic control center for all non-discussed vehicles on this planet. The device is also for faster-than-light communications, quantum entangled communications at great distance. In, I guess it was the late 80s or early 90s, Garry McKinnon hacked NASA. And he found the list of the off-world space fleet and the captains of the ships respectively. We have a fleet out there. If we have a fleet out there, we need to communicate with them. This is that facility.
This very well could be the communication method used to talk to our fleets in space, no matter how far away they might be. And just to tease the next video, this could be the craft they are using to patrol our system. Let me know in the comments what these craft are called if you already know. There are stories like the one of President Nixon being read on the UFO subject and even taking Jackie Gleason out to see what we had in the locker, so to speak, as well as some wacky characters claiming they have been a part of these programs. The next story might have some merit to it, but people trying to profit from stories like these by making up fiction and selling it as a real story are the reason that this subject has been looked down upon for so long. That's why I tried to compile only the information I deemed credible. In conclusion, I'm pretty sure projects like these exist, and with the ongoing Senate hearings and whistleblowers like David Grush and Eric Hacker, among dozens of other high-profile members of the military, the reality of what is going on around us is slowly swimming up to the surface. The timing of everything makes me question this a little bit, but it's a separate video. Times where these topics were a laughing matter are over, and only one question remains. Who are they and where do they come from? And if the stories like these are true, maybe we already know. After all, let's not forget the speech President Ronald Reagan gave at the United Nations General Assembly in 1988.
We often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly Our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
This has been the UFO Lab, and thank you for staying until the end. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, subscribe to the channel and like the videos. It helps the algorithm show these videos to more people, which would help me make more content like this in the future. I've covered the wide array of topics here, and I encourage you to take a look at the videos I made already, as they will give you a better perception of what has been going on in the past 50 years. That will be it for today. I wish you good luck in your search, and don't forget that the truth is still out there. I'll catch you in the next one.